My name is Brandon Reed, and I never expected a simple act of kindness to change my entire life. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. I wasn't someone people noticed when I walked into a room. I was just a 26-year-old guy trying to keep my life together. At the time, I was working two jobs. During the day, I helped manage inventory at a small outdoor equipment store in Seattle. At night, I delivered food to make extra money. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid my bills. I had learned a long time ago that waiting for life to become easier was useless. You had to keep moving. That night started like any other late shift. Cold weather, empty streets, a phone battery barely holding on. I was walking back to my apartment after finishing my last delivery when I noticed someone sitting near the entrance of an old building. At first, I thought she was just waiting for a ride. Then I saw her. A woman in an expensive-looking dress, sitting alone, holding her arms tightly around herself. She was shaking. Not pretending. Actually shaking. I slowed down and looked at her. "Are you okay?" She looked up. Her eyes were tired, but there was something about her expression that made me stop. Most people would have ignored her. Honestly, I almost did too. It was midnight. I was exhausted. I had work again in 6 hours. But something about seeing someone clearly struggling made me unable to walk away. She quickly looked away. "I'm fine." Her voice said the opposite. I frowned. "You're freezing." I said I'm fine. There was a sharpness in her voice, like she was used to pushing people away. I understood that. Sometimes people didn't want help because accepting help meant admitting they weren't okay. I took off my jacket. "No offense, but you're doing a terrible job convincing me." She looked surprised. "What? You keep saying you're fine while your hands are shaking." For the first time, her serious expression changed. A tiny smile appeared. "You always argue with strangers?" "Only the ones who look like they're about to turn into an ice statue." She almost laughed. "Almost." I handed her my coat. "Take it." She immediately shook her head. "No, I can't." "You can. I don't need your coat. You might not need it, but you definitely need warmth." She stared at me. "You don't even know me." I shrugged. "That's exactly why this is simple." "What do you mean?" "If I knew you, I'd probably have 100 reasons to worry. Maybe you'd owe me something. Maybe I'd expect something back." I smiled. "But I don't know you. I just know you're cold." She didn't say anything. She just looked at the coat in my hand. After a few seconds, she slowly accepted it. "Thank you." "You're welcome." She put it on, and something about the way she looked at it confused me. Not because she liked the jacket, because she looked emotional. Like a simple coat meant more to her than I could understand. "You okay?" I asked. She nodded. "Yeah, I just forgot what it felt like for someone to help me without wanting something." That sentence stayed in my mind. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Another delivery request. I looked down. When I looked back up, she was watching me. "You're leaving?" "Yeah." Unfortunately, my very exciting career as a delivery guy continues. That actually made her smile. "You're different." I hear that a lot. Is that a good thing? I thought about it. I don't know. Usually when people say that, they mean I'm weird. She laughed softly. A real laugh. And for some reason, hearing it felt strangely important. "What's your name?" she asked. I hesitated. "Brandon." She repeated it quietly. "Brandon." Then she looked at me. "Sophia." "Sophia. Nice to meet you. You have no idea who I am, do you?" I laughed. "No." She looked almost shocked. "No. Should I?" She looked away. "No. Actually, I think I like that you don't." I didn't understand what she meant. At the time, I had no idea the woman standing in front of me was Sophia Bennett, the youngest CEO of Bennett Global Holdings, a billionaire whose face appeared on business magazines, a woman who had thousands of employees, millions of dollars, and people constantly trying to get close to her. But standing there with my old jacket around her shoulders, she wasn't a CEO. She was just someone who was cold. And I was just someone who offered a coat. I walked away that night without thinking much about it. I didn't expect anything. I didn't ask for her number. I didn't even look back. Because to me, it was just the right thing to do. But I didn't know Sophia wasn't used to being treated like a normal person. I didn't know that after I left, she sat there for almost 20 minutes holding my coat. I didn't know she asked her assistant the next morning to find me. And I definitely didn't know that less than 24 hours later, there would be a knock on my apartment door. A knock that would completely change my life. The next morning, I woke up late. My alarm didn't go off because my phone had died overnight. "Perfect," I muttered. I was already running behind. I grabbed my keys, rushed toward the door, and froze. Someone was standing outside. A woman in a black suit. And two people behind her. Security. My first thought was simple. Did I accidentally owe someone money? The woman looked at me. Are you Brandon Reed? I immediately became cautious. Who's asking? She stepped aside. And then I saw her. Sophia. She wasn't wearing the same dress from last night. She looked completely different. Confident. Powerful. Like someone who belonged on the cover of a magazine. But her eyes were the same. The same eyes from the freezing street. I stared at her. What is happening? Sophia looked at me for a long moment. Then she smiled. I found you. I blinked. Excuse me. She held up my coat. The same old coat I had given her. I spent the entire night trying to find the man who gave this to me. I looked at the coat, then at her. You came to my apartment because of a jacket? No. Her answer was immediate. I came here because of you. I didn't know what to say, because standing in front of me was a woman who looked like she could buy anything in the world. And somehow, she had come looking for the one thing she couldn't buy. A simple act of kindness. I stared at Sophia Bennett standing outside my apartment, and for several seconds, my brain refused to process what was happening. The woman from last night wasn't just some stranger. She was Sophia Bennett. The Sophia Bennett. I had seen her face before. Everyone had. She was the CEO of Bennett Global Holdings, one of the youngest billionaires in the country. She appeared on business magazines, gave interviews about technology and investments, and was constantly surrounded by people trying to get her attention. And now she was standing in front of my apartment, holding my old coat. I looked behind her at the two security guards, then back at her. Are you sure you have the right person? A small smile appeared on her face. Yes. That's impossible. Why? Because I'm pretty sure billionaires don't usually show up at random apartments because someone gave them a jacket. Sophia looked down at the coat in her hands. Maybe they should. I didn't know how to respond. She seemed different from last night. Not colder. Actually, the opposite. Last night, she looked like someone who was trying to hide from the world. Now she looked like someone who owned it. Can we talk? She asked. I hesitated. About what? About why you helped me. I frowned. That's a strange question. Why? Because the answer is obvious. She tilted her head. Is it? Yes. I leaned against the door. You were cold. I had a coat. That's it. Sophia stared at me. You really mean that? Of course. She was quiet. That reaction confused me. I expected her to laugh. Or maybe tell me I was being naive. Instead, she looked almost disappointed. Brandon, do you know how many people approach me every day? I'm guessing a lot. Everyone wants something. She looked down. They want contracts, opportunities, money, connections. They pretend to care because they think I can change their lives. I didn't say anything. But you didn't even ask my name. I shrugged. I didn't need to. That's what surprised me. She looked at my coat. When you gave me this, you didn't see a CEO. No. You didn't see a billionaire. No. You just saw someone who was cold. Exactly. Sophia smiled slightly. And you have no idea how rare that is. I didn't know what to say. I had never thought of it that way. To me, kindness wasn't something special. It was just something people should do. Sophia stepped forward and handed me an envelope. I looked at it suspiciously. What's that? Something to thank you. I immediately shook my head. No. Her expression changed. No. I don't want money. She looked surprised. Most people wouldn't even hesitate. I'm not most people. A silence fell between us. Then she smiled. You really are different. I told you. People say that a lot. This time, I mean it as a compliment. I looked at the envelope, then handed it back. I appreciate it. Really. But I didn't help you because I expected something. Sophia studied me carefully. Then what can I do? Nothing. Nothing. You can just keep the coat. She laughed softly. The coat? Yeah. Brandon, this coat is old. I know. It's worn out. I know. It probably cost less than the coffee my assistant buys every morning. That sounds like an expensive coffee. She laughed again. But then her expression became serious. That's exactly why I wanted to find you. Because of an old coat? No. She looked directly at me. Because nobody has treated me like that in years. I didn't know what to say. For some reason, her words felt heavier than I expected. Before I could answer, her phone rang. She looked at the screen and immediately frowned. The change was instant. The warm woman from a second ago disappeared. The CEO returned. I have to take this. She answered. Yes. I couldn't hear the person on the other side, but I could see her expression becoming colder. No. Cancel the meeting. A pause. I said cancel it. Another pause. Then she looked at me. I'll handle it. She ended the call. Problem? I asked. She hesitated. My company. Bad news. Complicated. I nodded. Well, I hope you figure it out. She looked at me like she wanted to say something else. Then she asked, Can I see you again? The question caught me off guard. Why? Because I want to. That's not usually how CEOs work, is it? She smiled. No. Usually people ask me for meetings. And you? I'm asking you. I didn't know what to think. This woman could have anyone around her. Anyone. And yet she was standing in my apartment hallway asking to see me again. I'm just a normal guy, Sophia. I know. Your world is completely different from mine. I know. Then why? She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Because when everyone else saw my money, you saw me. That answer stayed with me. I finally nodded. Okay. Okay. We can have coffee. Sophia smiled. A real smile. Not the kind she probably used during business meetings. The kind that looked like she forgot she was supposed to be powerful. Tomorrow. Sure. I'll pick you up. No. She looked surprised. No. I can meet you there. Why? Because I don't need a driver picking me up like I'm someone important. Sophia looked amused. You really don't know how unusual you are. I'm starting to think you say that a lot. Because it's true. She turned to leave. Then stopped. Brandon. Yeah. Thank you. I nodded. You're welcome. After she left, I closed my apartment door and stood there for a long time. I still couldn't believe what had happened. A billionaire CEO had come to my door. Not because of my skills. Not because of my money. Not because she wanted something from me. Because I gave her my coat. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. Because the next day, when I walked into the coffee shop where we agreed to meet, I discovered Sophia Bennett's world was far more complicated than I imagined. And someone in her world didn't want me there. I arrived at the coffee shop 10 minutes early. That wasn't because I was nervous. At least, that's what I told myself. I had met Sophia once before. I had talked to her. I had even made her laugh. So why was I standing outside the coffee shop for 5 minutes, wondering if I should walk in? Because yesterday, she was just Sophia, the woman who needed a coat. Today, she was Sophia Bennett, a billionaire CEO, a person whose schedule was probably planned months in advance. I looked down at my simple hoodie and jeans. Maybe I should have dressed better, I muttered. Then I immediately shook my head. No. Stop. That wasn't who I was. If Sophia wanted to talk to me, she knew exactly who I was. I walked inside. The moment I entered, I noticed her. Sophia was sitting by the window. She wasn't surrounded by assistants. No security. No business people. Just her. When she saw me, she smiled. You came. I laughed. You sound surprised. I am. Why? Because most people would have assumed I changed my mind. I sat down across from her. Did you? No. Then there's your answer. Sophia smiled. You always make everything sound simple. Because most things are. She looked at me carefully. You really believe that? Yeah. She picked up her coffee. You know, I spent my whole life learning that nothing is simple. I believe that. Then why do you act like it is? I thought for a second. Because making things complicated doesn't always make them better. Sophia became quiet. It was strange. Every time I said something normal, she reacted like I had told her something important. So, I said, trying to change the subject, what exactly does a billionaire CEO do when she's not running a company? She smiled. Usually? Work. That sounds terrible. It is. I laughed. You're admitting it? Yes. That's unexpected. Why? Because people like you usually pretend everything is perfect. She looked down. People like me? Rich people. Sophia smiled. You think money makes life perfect? No. Good. She looked out the window. Because it doesn't. For a moment, she wasn't the powerful CEO everyone knew. She was just Sophia, a person who looked tired. Before I could say anything, her phone started ringing. She looked at the screen. Her expression changed immediately. Again, the CEO returned. She answered. What happened? A pause. No. I told you that decision was final. Another pause. I'm coming. She ended the call. Something wrong? Yes. Do you need to go? She hesitated. I don't want to. That surprised me. But you should. Sophia looked at me. You're not upset? Why would I be? Because I'm leaving. You have a company to run. She smiled slightly. You really don't act like someone who wants something from me. Because I don't. And that was when I noticed something. Sophia looked relieved. Like she had been waiting for me to say that. I'll see you again, she said. It wasn't a question. It was a promise. I didn't realize how much attention that coffee meeting would create. Until the next morning. I was at work when my manager walked toward me with a strange expression. Brandon. Yeah. You're famous. I laughed. What? He handed me his phone. I looked at the screen. My stomach dropped. There was a picture of me and Sophia sitting in the coffee shop. The headline said, Bennett Global CEO spotted meeting mystery man after midnight incident. I stared at it. What is this? My manager shrugged. Apparently, everyone wants to know who you are. I handed the phone back. I'm nobody. My manager looked confused. You're sitting with a billionaire. That doesn't make me somebody. But deep down, I knew this was going to become a problem. And I was right. That afternoon, Sophia called me. I answered immediately. Hey. Her voice sounded serious. Brandon, are you busy? Working. I'm sorry. For what? For this. I already knew what she meant. The news. Yes. I sighed. Sophia, it's not your fault. It is. No, it isn't. You don't understand. Then explain. There was silence. Finally, she said, my company has enemies. I frowned. Enemies. Competitors. Investors. People who want me to fail. And now they think I'm a weakness? Yes. I leaned against the wall. Sophia. Yeah. Are you worried about me? She didn't answer immediately. That told me everything. Yes. I smiled slightly. Why? Because you're involved now. How? Because you're connected to me. I thought about that. Then I said, maybe that's the problem. What? Maybe everyone around you only sees what they can gain from being close to you. She was quiet. And you don't. No. Why? Because I already know who you are. What does that mean? You're Sophia. I paused. The woman who was freezing on the street. For a moment, she didn't speak. Then I heard her softly laugh. You really won't let me forget that, will you? Nope. Good. Her voice changed. Softer. Actually, I'm glad. I smiled. But before I could answer, I heard another voice in the background. A man. Sophia, we need to discuss this. Her tone immediately changed. Who is that? My company's board member. Does he know about me? Yes. And he doesn't like it. I sighed. I figured. Brandon. Yeah. Don't disappear. That caught me off guard. What? I know you. No, you don't. I do. She paused. You're the kind of person who walks away when things become difficult. I didn't answer. Because she was right. I had done that before. I had walked away from opportunities. From relationships. From situations where I felt like I didn't belong. Please, she said. Let me handle this. I looked at the phone. For some reason, I believed her. Okay. Thank you. We ended the call. But I didn't know that at that exact moment, inside Bennett Global Holdings, a group of people were already making plans. Plans to find out who Brandon Reed really was. Plans to prove I was only after Sophia's money. And plans that would force me into a world I never wanted to enter. A world where kindness was questioned. Where loyalty had a price. And where I would have to prove that the man who gave away his only coat was worth far more than anyone believed. The first thing I noticed when I arrived at Bennett Global Holdings was that everyone looked like they belonged there. Perfect suits. Expensive watches. Confident voices. People walking quickly while talking about million-dollar deals like they were discussing weekend plans. And then there was me. Brandon Reed. A guy wearing a simple jacket, standing in the lobby wondering if the security guard was going to ask me to leave. I checked my phone again. Sophia had sent me a message. Tell the front desk you're here to see me. That was it. No special instructions. No warning. No explanation. I walked to the receptionist. Hi. I'm here to see Sophia Bennett. The receptionist looked up, then looked back down. Her expression changed immediately. You mean Ms. Bennett? Yeah. She studied me. And you are? Brandon Reed. The moment I said my name, something changed. Not in a good way. She glanced at another employee nearby. They whispered something. I didn't hear the words, but I understood the look. They knew who I was. The mystery guy from the news. The man everyone thought was trying to get close to Sophia. Please wait, she said. I nodded. I wasn't surprised. Actually, I expected it. 5 minutes later, a man in a dark suit walked toward me. He looked around 40. Sharp expression. Cold eyes. Brandon Reed? Yes. I'm Daniel Parker, Sophia's chief financial officer. Nice to meet you. He didn't shake my hand. That told me enough. I need to ask you a few questions. I frowned. Questions? Yes. About what? Your relationship with Sophia. I almost laughed. My relationship? Yes. I looked around. People were watching. So this is how it works? What do you mean? I give someone a code, and suddenly I'm being investigated? His expression didn't change. You don't understand the situation. Then explain it. Daniel stepped closer. Sophia Bennett is not a normal person. I know. She controls a company worth billions. I know. People spend years trying to get access to her. I crossed my arms. And you think I'm one of them? I think it's possible. I looked at him. Then I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was unbelievable. Do you really think I planned all of this? Daniel said nothing. So what? I stood outside at midnight waiting for Sophia Bennett to walk by. I pretended she was cold. I gave her my coat because I knew she was rich. I shook my head. That's ridiculous. You have to understand why we're cautious. No. I looked directly at him. I understand why you're suspicious. But there's a difference between protecting someone and judging everyone. For the first time, his expression changed slightly. Before he could respond, another voice interrupted. That's enough. Sophia. Everyone immediately became quiet. She walked toward us. And I noticed something. Everyone respected her. Not because of her money. Because of her presence. Daniel. Yes, Sophia? Did you question him? Daniel hesitated. I was just making sure. I didn't ask you to. The room became silent. Sophia looked at me. Are you okay? I nodded. Yeah. But she knew I wasn't. I'm sorry. I shook my head. You don't have to apologize for other people. But they work for me. That doesn't mean you control every thought they have. Sophia looked surprised. Again, like she wasn't used to someone speaking honestly to her. Daniel cleared his throat. Sophia, the board meeting is in 10 minutes. I know. He walked away. Sophia turned back to me. I should have warned you. About what? That my world is complicated. I smiled. I figured that out when your security team showed up at my apartment. She laughed. A small, genuine laugh. You're making fun of my security? Maybe. You're brave. No. I'm just not impressed by expensive suits. That made her smile. Then she became serious. I want to offer you a job. I froze. What? A position here? I immediately shook my head. No. She looked surprised. You didn't even ask what it is. Because I know why you're offering it. Why? Because you want to help me. Yes. Exactly. Sophia looked confused. What's wrong with that? I don't want to be someone's charity project. Her expression softened. Brandon, I'm serious. I don't see you that way. Maybe you don't. But everyone else will. She was quiet. Because she knew I was right. I can't walk into this building every day knowing people think I'm here because I gave you a jacket. Sophia looked at me. Then she said something I didn't expect. Then prove them wrong. I looked at her. What? Work here. That's your solution? No. She stepped closer. My solution is giving you a chance to show everyone what I already know. And what's that? That you're not special because you helped me. She paused. You're special because of who you are. I didn't know how to respond. Nobody had ever said something like that to me. Not in a way that felt real. But before I could answer, Sophia's assistant rushed over. Ms. Bennett. Sophia turned. What happened? The assistant looked nervous. The board members saw the news. And they're demanding you explain who Brandon Reed is. Sophia's expression changed. Now. Yes. The assistant lowered her voice. They believe this is a serious risk. I looked at Sophia. A billion-dollar company. A powerful CEO. A room full of people waiting to judge her. And somehow, I was the reason. I should leave, I said. Sophia immediately looked at me. No. Sophia. No. Her voice was firm. I'm tired of people deciding who belongs in my life. I stared at her. She continued. For once, I want to make my own choice. The elevator doors opened. Inside was the boardroom floor. Sophia walked toward it. Then stopped. She looked back at me. Are you coming? I hesitated. because stepping into that elevator meant entering her world. A world where I didn't belong. A world where everyone would question me. But then I remembered something. That night on the street, Sophia was alone. Everyone saw a billionaire. I saw a person. Maybe now it was my turn to be seen. I stepped into the elevator, and the doors closed. I had no idea that behind those doors were people ready to destroy my reputation. Because they weren't trying to find out if I was good enough for Sophia. They were trying to prove I never deserved to stand beside her. The elevator ride to the executive floor was only 30 seconds. But somehow, it felt much longer. Sophia stood beside me, completely calm. Too calm. I looked at her. How are you not nervous? She glanced at me. About what? The entire board of your company is waiting upstairs because of me. She shook her head. No. No. They're not waiting because of you. I frowned. Then why? Because they're afraid. Of me. A small smile appeared on her face. No. She looked straight ahead. They're afraid because I made a decision they didn't control. That answer surprised me. You mean they're not angry because of me? They're angry because they're used to controlling my choices. I looked at her. And you're not letting them anymore. No. The elevator doors opened. And the moment we stepped out, I felt the difference. The hallway was quieter. More serious. Everyone walking past us immediately stopped talking. Sophia walked forward without hesitation. I followed. But I could feel every pair of eyes on me. The guy who didn't belong. The guy who somehow ended up beside the CEO. The guy everyone wanted to understand. We entered the boardroom. There were about 10 people sitting around a long table. Most of them looked at Sophia, then at me, then back at Sophia. One man immediately spoke. Sophia, this is exactly what we were talking about. Sophia sat down. Good morning, Richard. This isn't a joke. I never said it was. Richard Cole was one of Bennett Global's oldest board members. He had built a reputation for being ruthless, the kind of person who cared about numbers more than people. He looked at me. And this is Brandon Reed? Yes. Richard leaned back. The man from the news? I answered before Sophia could. I guess so. A few people exchanged looks. Richard smiled slightly. You seem comfortable. Should I not be? You're sitting in a room where decisions worth billions are made. I shrugged. I'm sitting in a chair. A few people looked surprised. Sophia tried not to smile. Richard noticed. That made his expression colder. Mr. Reed, do you understand why we have concerns? Yes. Good. But I think you're confusing concern with judgment. The room became silent. Richard looked at me. Excuse me. I understand why you're protecting Sophia. She's important. I glanced around. But none of you have asked what actually happened. Richard narrowed his eyes. Then tell us. I looked at Sophia. She nodded. So I told them. Everything. The cold night. The street. The coat. The conversation. Nothing more. Nothing less. When I finished, nobody spoke. Then Richard laughed. You expect us to believe this? I frowned. Why wouldn't you? Because people don't simply walk away from opportunities like this. What opportunities? Being connected to Sophia. I looked at him. You really think everyone wants something from her? Richard didn't answer. Because that was exactly what he thought. I shook my head. That's the sad part. What is? You all work with her every day, but you still don't know her. Sophia looked at me. I continued. You see her as a company. A number. A stock price. I looked around the room. But she's a person. Nobody spoke. Richard's expression hardened. You're very confident for someone who just walked into this company yesterday. No. I shook my head. I'm just honest. Richard leaned forward. Let me ask you something. Go ahead. If Sophia lost everything tomorrow, would you still stand here? The question surprised me. But my answer came quickly. Yes. Richard smiled. That's easy to say. Maybe. I looked at Sophia. But I already met her when she had nothing to offer me. That changed the room. Because everyone knew what I meant. That night, I had no idea who Sophia was. No money. No power. No company. Just a woman who was cold. And I helped her anyway. Sophia looked away for a moment. Like she was trying to hide her reaction. Then Richard spoke again. Even if we accept your story, that doesn't solve the problem. What problem? The media. He tapped a tablet. Your picture is everywhere. I looked at the screen. There were articles. Comments. People guessing who I was. Some said I was lucky. Others said I was manipulating Sophia. One headline said, Billionaire CEO's mysterious new man. Romance or strategy? I sighed. This is ridiculous. Yes, Richard said. And it's damaging the company. Sophia's expression changed. I'll handle the media. Richard shook his head. No, you need distance. From the way he said it, I knew what he meant. Distance from me. Sophia immediately understood too. No. Richard looked at her. You're choosing him over the company? No. She stood. I'm choosing not to let fear control me. Nobody spoke. Sophia continued. Brandon did nothing wrong. He's a risk. He's a person. The room became silent. I had never seen someone like Sophia defend someone like me. Not because she needed me, because she believed in me. But then something happened. The door opened. A woman walked in quickly. She looked worried. Sophia. What happened? The woman handed her a folder. The investigation results. Sophia opened it. Her expression changed. What? Everyone noticed. Richard stood. What is it? Sophia looked at the papers. Then at me. Someone leaked information. About me? No. She shook her head. About you. I froze. What? The woman explained. Someone accessed your personal records. Your employment history. Your financial information. My stomach tightened. Someone had investigated me. Sophia looked furious. Who did this? Nobody answered. But everyone knew. This wasn't about protecting Sophia anymore. Someone was trying to destroy me. Richard looked at me. And for the first time, his expression changed. Because maybe he realized something. I wasn't trying to enter Sophia's world. Someone was trying to drag me into a battle I never asked for. Sophia closed the folder. Then she said something that surprised everyone. Find out who did this. Her voice was cold, powerful. And when you find them, she looked at me. They answered to me. I stared at her. The woman I met on a freezing street was gone. The billionaire CEO was standing there. But somehow, I knew she was still the same person. The person who wore my coat. The person who remembered my kindness. And now, she was ready to fight for me. I just didn't know yet that the person behind the leak wasn't a stranger. It was someone much closer to her than I imagined. I used to believe that problems came from strangers. People who didn't know you. People who judged you from a distance. People who looked at your life and decided they already understood everything. But after meeting Sophia Bennett, I learned something. Sometimes the people closest to you were the ones who could hurt you the most. The investigation into the leaked information started immediately. Sophia didn't waste time. The moment we left the boardroom, she called her security team, legal department, and cybersecurity division. Everyone moved quickly. Everyone except me. I just stood there, holding the folder that contained my personal information. My job history. My bank records. My address. Things nobody should have had. Sophia noticed my expression. Brandon. I looked up. Yeah. Are you okay? I almost laughed. Someone just leaked my entire life to the internet. Her expression softened. I know. And you're asking if I'm okay? Yes. I looked at her. Why? Because everyone else is focused on the damage to my company. She stepped closer. But I'm focused on what this did to you. That answer caught me off guard. Most people would have cared about the headlines. The stock price. The company image. Sophia cared about me. Why are you doing this? I asked. She looked confused. Doing what? Fighting this hard for me. She was silent. For a moment, I thought she wouldn't answer. Then she said, because someone should have done it for me. I frowned. What does that mean? Sophia looked away. I grew up surrounded by people who always wanted something. Your family. Yes. She smiled, but there was no happiness in it. My father built Bennett Global. He taught me how to win. That sounds good. It sounds good. She paused. But he never taught me how to trust. I listened. My entire life, every person who approached me had a reason. Money. Money. Power. Connections. She looked at me. Even friendships. I understood. That's why you remembered the code. Yes. Because I didn't know who you were. Exactly. I didn't say anything. Because suddenly, I understood. That night wasn't important because I gave her a jacket. It was important because for once, someone treated Sophia Bennett like Sophia. Not like a billionaire. Not like a CEO. Not like an opportunity. Just Sophia. Before I could respond, her assistant walked toward us. Ms. Bennett. Sophia turned. What did you find? The assistant looked nervous. We traced the leak. And she hesitated. It came from inside the company. Sophia's expression became cold. Who? The assistant handed her a tablet. Sophia looked at the screen, then froze. I noticed immediately. Who is it? She didn't answer. Sophia? Finally, she said. Victor. I didn't know who that was. Who's Victor? Her eyes remained on the screen. My cousin. That changed everything. Victor Bennett arrived at the office 20 minutes later. He didn't look worried. Actually, he looked confident. Too confident. He walked into Sophia's office like he owned the place. Sophia. She didn't stand. Victor. He smiled. I heard there was a misunderstanding. I stood near the window, watching, listening. Sophia placed the tablet on the desk. Was it? Victor glanced at the screen, then shrugged. Everyone is curious about the man suddenly appearing in your life. You leaked his information. I investigated him. You exposed him. Victor sighed. Sophia, you're being emotional. Her expression changed. That word clearly bothered her. Emotional. Like her feelings made her weak. Victor continued. You're the CEO of a billion-dollar company. And you're risking everything for someone you met one night. I stepped forward. I think I should leave. Sophia immediately looked at me. No. Victor smiled. There it is. What? You're already protecting him. Sophia's eyes narrowed. Careful, Victor. He ignored her. You always do this. Do what? Pretend you don't care. The room became quiet. I looked at Sophia. Victor continued. You built this company by making difficult choices. But now suddenly, one stranger shows up and you're acting differently. Sophia stood. Brandon is not a problem. He's a weakness. No. Her voice was calm. He's the first person in years who reminded me I'm not just a company. Victor looked at her. And for the first time, his confidence disappeared. Because he realized something. Sophia wasn't defending me because she liked me. She was defending me because I represented something she had lost. Her own freedom. Victor left after that. But the damage was already done. I looked at Sophia. You okay? She nodded. Yeah. You're lying. She smiled slightly. You're getting good at noticing. I sat down. Sophia. Yeah. You don't have to fight everyone because of me. She looked at me. I'm not fighting because of you. Then why? Because I'm tired of people deciding what I'm allowed to feel. I was quiet. Then she said something I didn't expect. I want you to know something. What? The night you gave me your coat. She paused. I didn't just remember the coat. I looked at her. I remembered how it felt. How it felt. To have someone care about me without asking what I could give them. Her voice became softer. That was the first time in a long time I felt like a normal person. I didn't know what to say. Then she smiled. And now I want to do the same for you. What do you mean? I want you to stop thinking you don't belong. I looked away. Because she had touched something I never talked about. I had always felt like I was behind. Other people had better jobs, better connections, better opportunities. And now I was standing beside a billionaire. Someone everyone expected me to use. But Sophia saw something else. She saw me. Then my phone rang. I looked at the screen. It was my manager from the outdoor store. I answered. Hello. His voice sounded nervous. Brandon. What happened? There's a problem. What kind of problem? He hesitated. Someone came here asking questions about you. My expression changed. Who? I don't know. What did they want? A pause. Then he said, they wanted to know if you were planning to use Sophia Bennett. I looked at Sophia. She immediately understood. This wasn't over. Someone wasn't just attacking her company. They were attacking my life. And they were trying to make Sophia believe that I was the reason for all of this. But they made one mistake. They underestimated how much Sophia Bennett had changed. Because the woman who once needed my coat was now ready to stand beside me. And whoever was trying to tear us apart had no idea what they had started. I used to think people like Sophia Bennett lived a completely different life. A life where problems disappeared with one phone call. A life where money opened every door. A life where nobody could hurt you. But after spending more time with her, I realized something. Money could solve many problems. It just couldn't solve loneliness. And Sophia had been lonely for a long time. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of notifications. Messages. News alerts. Comments. I already knew something had happened before I even checked. When I opened my phone, I saw my name everywhere. The headlines were worse than before. Billionaire CEO's mystery man has troubled past. Is Sophia Bennett being manipulated? I stared at the screen. My first reaction wasn't anger. It was disappointment. Because I knew exactly what people were doing. They weren't interested in the truth. They wanted a story. A simple story where the billionaire was foolish and the ordinary guy was a fraud. My phone rang. Sophia. I answered. Good morning. Her voice immediately told me it wasn't a good morning. Brandon. Yeah. Don't look at the news. I smiled. Too late. Silence. Then. I'm sorry. I sighed. Sophia. No, listen. Her voice was serious. I know what this feels like. I looked at the screen. No, you don't. I do. You're a billionaire. And you think that means nobody attacks me? I stopped. She continued. People have questioned everything about me. Her voice lowered. My decisions. My intelligence. My character. I listened. But this time, they're using you. I leaned back. That's why you're worried. Yes. Because of your reputation. No. Her answer was immediate. Because I don't want them hurting you. That made me quiet. Nobody had ever cared about protecting my name. Not like this. Sophia. Yeah. Maybe we should stop. There was silence. What? I looked out the window. Maybe this is too much. No. Sophia. No. Her voice became firm. I don't want to hear that. I closed my eyes. You have a company to protect. I know. You have thousands of employees. I know. You have a whole world watching you. I know. Then why are you still choosing me? The answer came softly. Because you chose me first. I froze. What? The night we met. She paused. You had no reason to help me. I just did. Exactly. Her voice became emotional. You didn't know my name. You didn't know my money. You didn't know what I could do for you. She whispered. But you still chose kindness. I didn't answer. Because she was right. Later that day, Sophia called me to her company. But this time, she didn't ask me to meet privately. She asked me to come to the main conference room. When I arrived, I immediately noticed something. The entire executive team was there. Board members, managers, legal advisors, everyone. I looked at Sophia. What's happening? She looked calm. I'm making an announcement. My stomach tightened. What kind of announcement? You'll see. She walked to the front of the room. Everyone became silent. Sophia Bennett was back. The CEO. The woman who controlled billions. But this time, she wasn't hiding her emotions. She looked around the room. I know everyone has questions. Nobody spoke. You want to know who Brandon Reed is? She looked at me. He is someone who helped me when I had nothing to offer him. The room stayed silent. He didn't know my name. He didn't know my position. He didn't know my wealth. She paused. And he still helped me. A few people looked uncomfortable. Sophia continued. Some of you believe he is a risk. She looked directly at the board. But the real risk is forgetting what kind of company we want to be. Richard crossed his arms. Sophia, this is not about feelings. No. She looked at him. It's about values. The room became quiet. Richard frowned. You're willing to damage your reputation for him? Sophia shook her head. No. She looked at me. I'm willing to protect my reputation by standing with the truth. That sentence hit harder than I expected. Then she said something nobody expected. Brandon Reed will be joining Bennett Global. The room exploded. People started talking. What? Is this serious? Sophia, you can't. She raised her hand. Everyone stopped. He will not receive a position because of me. She continued. He will earn it. I looked at her. She had created a chance for me. Not a gift. A chance. And that mattered. After the meeting ended, I found her alone. Sophia. She turned. Yeah. Why did you do that? Because I believe in you. You barely know me. She smiled. Maybe. Then she walked closer. But sometimes you know someone's heart before you know their history. I looked away. I don't want to become your weakness. She shook her head. You're not. Then what am I? Her answer was quiet. You're the first person who made me feel strong without making me feel alone. I didn't know how to respond. Because somewhere between the coat, the coffee, and all the chaos, Sophia Bennett had stopped being someone I wanted to help. She had become someone I wanted to protect too. But before I could say anything, her assistant rushed in. Ms. Bennett. Sophia turned. What now? The assistant looked at me. Then at Sophia. We found the person who started the rumors. Sophia's expression changed. Who? The assistant hesitated. It's not Victor. I frowned. Then who? The assistant handed Sophia a file. Sophia opened it. And the color slowly disappeared from her face. I stepped closer. What is it? She looked at me. And for the first time since I met her, Sophia looked scared. Brandon. What? She held the file tightly. The person behind everything. She swallowed. It's someone who knows you. My heart sank. Someone who knows me? She nodded. Yes. Then she said the name. And everything changed. Because the person trying to destroy my life wasn't a stranger. It was someone from my own past. I stared at Sophia. For a moment, I couldn't understand what she had just said. Someone from my past. Someone who knew me. Someone who had been trying to destroy my reputation. My first thought was simple. Who? I had spent most of my life keeping things simple. I worked. I paid my bills. I helped people when I could. I didn't have powerful enemies. I wasn't involved in anything dangerous. So who could hate me enough to do this? Sophia. My voice was quieter than I expected. Tell me who it is. She looked at the file again. Then back at me. Brandon, before I tell you. What? I need you to understand something. I frowned. What? This person didn't just attack you. She paused. They attacked you because they knew exactly what would hurt. I took the file from her hand. Inside were screenshots, emails, messages, documents. And then I saw the name. My heart stopped. Emily. Sophia nodded. Yes. I stared at the information. Emily Carter. My ex-girlfriend. The person I thought I knew better than anyone. The person I had spent 3 years with. The person who told me I was too ordinary. Too simple. Too predictable. I couldn't believe it. No. Sophia watched my expression. You're sure? Yes. I shook my head. Emily wouldn't do this. Brandon. No. I looked at the documents again. She wouldn't. Sophia didn't argue. She just asked, why do you believe that? Because that was the hardest question. Because I didn't have an answer. I believed it because I wanted to. Because admitting the truth meant accepting something painful. The person I trusted had been the person hurting me. 3 years earlier, Emily and I had talked about building a future together. At least, I thought we had. But slowly, things changed. She started comparing me to other people. My friend's boyfriend just bought a house. My coworker's husband got promoted. Do you ever want more from life? Those words didn't sound cruel at first. But after hearing them enough times, they started to hurt. Eventually, she said the sentence I never forgot. Brandon, you're a good person. I knew what came next. But, there was always a but. But you're not the kind of man who can give me the life I want. I remembered sitting there quietly. Not angry. Just hurt. Because I thought love was supposed to be about building something together. Not measuring someone's value. She left. And I let her. Because I thought losing her was proof that I wasn't enough. But now, she had come back. Not because she missed me. Because she wanted to destroy me. I need to talk to her. Sophia immediately shook her head. No. I looked at her. No. She wants a reaction. I need answers. You won't get them. How do you know? Because people who do things like this usually don't want answers. Sophia stepped closer. They want control. I looked at her. You sound like you've dealt with this before. She was quiet. Then she said, yes. I waited. My entire life. That answer surprised me. Sophia continued. When you become successful, people stop telling you the truth. They tell you what benefits them. They smile while planning against you. She looked at me. And eventually you start wondering if anyone is real. I understood. Because that was exactly what I was feeling. That evening, I met Emily. Not because Sophia wanted me to. Because I needed closure. We met at a small restaurant near downtown. The moment she saw me, her expression changed. Surprise. Then fear. You know, it wasn't a question. I sat down. Why? She looked away. I don't know what you mean. Don't do that. My voice stayed calm. Why did you leak my information? She was silent. Then she sighed. You don't understand. I almost laughed. That's what everyone says before they explain why they hurt someone. Emily looked angry. You think your life suddenly changed because you were kind? I stared at her. What? You met Sophia Bennett, and suddenly you think you're special. I shook my head. No. Yes, you do. She leaned forward. Do you know what it feels like watching someone like you suddenly get everything? I frowned. Everything. She laughed bitterly. You always wanted to be the good guy. And good guys don't win. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Emily. What? I gave you everything I had. She looked away. I know. And it still wasn't enough. No. Her answer was honest. That hurt more than a lie. Why? She looked at me. Because I wanted someone who could give me more. I nodded slowly. And when Sophia appeared, you became someone important. She smiled sadly. That bothered me. I stared at her. So you tried to ruin it. I thought if people saw the truth about you. The truth. I interrupted. You mean the version you created? Emily looked uncomfortable because she knew. She had convinced herself that I was nothing, and now she couldn't accept that someone else saw value in me. When I left the restaurant, Sophia was waiting outside. I stopped. You knew I was here? Yes. How? Because I know you. I smiled slightly. That's becoming your answer for everything. Because it's true. I looked at her. I thought I needed to prove myself. Sophia walked closer. You don't. I thought everyone was right. About what? That I wasn't enough. Her expression softened. Brandon. She shook her head. Listen to me. I looked at her. The man who gave away his only coat to a stranger in the middle of the night. She paused. That man was never ordinary. I didn't say anything, because those words meant more than she knew. Sophia smiled. You know what the funny thing is? What? I have spent years surrounded by people trying to impress me. She looked at me. And the one person who never tried was the one person I couldn't stop thinking about. My heart skipped. Sophia, she smiled. I found you because of a coat. She stepped closer. But I stayed because of who you are. For the first time in weeks, everything felt quiet. No rumors. No accusations. No people judging me. Just Sophia and me. The woman who had everything. And the man who thought he had nothing. A few months later, people would ask us how our story started. Some would say it was impossible. A billionaire CEO falling for an ordinary guy. But they were wrong. Because Sophia didn't fall for an ordinary man. She fell for the person who saw her when nobody else did. And I didn't save a billionaire that night. I simply helped someone who was cold. I gave her my coat. And somehow, she gave me a reason to believe in myself again.